Hello, everybody. I'm Joe Swarner. I'm your customer advocate and your host for today. I'm going to be doing my best to show off the SIDEARMS feature that is going to be out with our new update 25. And with me today, we have Brant Fitzgerald and Geoffrey. They'll be able to say a few things in just a second. But I want to thank everybody that has engaged with our wish list. It's been a long time coming. I don't know how long it's been there, but I know it's been there for a while. But we were finally going to get SIDEARMS, and it's going to be in the next update. So thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody, and who worked on it. Thank you to everybody who voted for it. This was what you wanted, and we're giving it to you as fast as we could. So, a couple of other things. First off, we've got an entry today, or we've got a giveaway today. And the thing that we're actually giving away, unlike most other times for prizes, is a service that I will provide for you. One of the things that I do on my personal stream is I help others complete legacies by just coming into their streams. Anyway, if you want me to come into your game and help you complete a legacy on any difficulty of your choosing next week, just let me know by pressing exclamation point enter in the chat. All right, that probably gets rid of most of it. We have with us, after a long hiatus, Mr. Brant Fitzgerald. Brant, would you like to say hello to the people?
Hello to all of you I missed so dearly.
All right, and here to talk SIDEARMS with us today is the design director of State of Decay 2, Mr. Geoffrey Card. Geoffrey?
Yeah. SIDEARMS is one of my favorite things we've ever pulled off the wish list, partly because whenever I review the wish list, which I try to do regularly, there's a lot of things that are at the top because they got upvoted a lot. And SIDEARMS wasn't up there. SIDEARMS is a little further down the list, but whenever I went deeper and deeper into the list, what I found was even though each individual SIDEARMS request didn't get a ton of votes, it was probably the most requested feature, like the most different people put in wish list requests for the sidearm swapping feature. And so the deeper you go on the list, the more sidearms shows up. And so this is one where it was kind of a stealth wish list request, but we noticed it and we brought it in. And yeah, the game has never felt better to play because it's in there.
And without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the game. Again, exclamation point enter if you want to win a multiplayer session with me, wherein I help you complete a legacy, hopefully next week. And
I just entered.
You did? I don't think
Undead Labs employees can't win.
That doesn't help. Okay. All right, so let's hop on over to the game screen. And I'll let Geoffrey and Brant take it away as we start talking about SIDEARMS and what they look like. We've got a little Cutter here, and she has a P22045. So
it's a good choice.
Well, it's the best choice I could make.
So where do we want to start talking about this? Because I know every time we've sort of been making plans for the future and trying to figure out, what to do first, what to do second, what to do third. Brant has always been in there just hyping the SIDEARMS feature. Like he and I have both been really aware of the fact that the audience has been just clamoring for this because you know what? I mean, most games that you play these days, there is some way to quickly switch from one weapon to another. And we were seeing really expert players like Fall Down Go Boom, for instance, bringing two weapons into battle and just getting really, really good at opening the inventory, finding the weapon, hitting the F key or whatever to switch that weapon into the slot, close the inventory again. And they could do that really fast. And it was impressive, but nobody should be making them do that, right? If every other game lets you just quickly go for your sidearm, we should just let people go for their sidearms.
I'd like to add that I've been asking for this for 11 years, so I still can't believe it's actually happening, and so incredibly pleased. But one thing we'll have to do is make sure that we can allow you to switch your weapon faster than Fall Down can do it on his PC.
Yeah, because Fall Down's probably not going to use it. If our weapon switching is not as fast as his weapon switching, he'll just keep doing it the same way he's always been doing it.
No, but it's a long time coming. And obviously it's been on our minds for a very long time. Joe's not going to get the chance to show off his sidearm switching.
Oh, I already did.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I'm wondering, for those of you who are not playing the game on Steam and who don't yet have access to our public test realm, maybe we should give a quick rundown of this feature
Right,
so that you understand exactly how it works. Unless of course we're just gonna die, in which case, well, you know what? You'll respawn as a new character,
That's
and maybe they'll have a sidearm that we can check out back at base.
So
they've all got sidearms now. They've all got sidearms. I just I ran into a bloater that I didn't see.
Yeah.
in short, for those of you who don't know about it yet, we've included a new slot in your inventory that where you'll put long guns, or you can put anything that's stowed on your backpack for weapons like crossbows, things like that. You can put in the primary weapon spot, and then anything that's traditionally stowed on the hip, you can put in your sidearm, and you can switch between them.
Yeah.
Welcome
exactly.
to 2001.
When did Halo come out? I think that's probably what we're dating back to here. So basically, that's where we decided to draw the line, is between, because we could have kind of divided the weapons up any particular way, but we decided to draw the line between the ones that are stowed on your back and the ones that are stowed on your hip, just because it kind of made physical sense. We do try to go for a lot of verisimilitude with the way things work in State of Decay 2. Obviously, not 100% realism, but we try to at least make it feel pretty reasonable. And so by dividing it up this way, you can actually see both of the guns on your character's model at the same time. You can see any multiplayer person who comes in, you can see what they're equipping. And then you always know really sort of clearly, just from the type of gun it is, which slot it's going to go to. We made a couple of changes. You might have noticed this as people have been sort of plowing through the weapon list, particularly in the beta, where we've updated all of the weapon descriptions to say whether they're a primary weapon or a sidearm. We moved a couple of the shorter shotguns over from being a backstowed weapon to being a holster stowed weapon. And so that was basically because, the game that actually probably inspired me the most when it comes to sort of weapon equipping features like this was Far Cry 2. That was one of my favorite. I don't know if either of you guys played Far Cry 2 back when it was new.
No.
Got some nods from Brant.
I played it long enough to jam my gun and have it explode in my hands, and then I was like, I'm out.
That was the best part of that game. But no, so the thing that I liked about it was you had 3 weapon slots. You had a slot for a primary weapon, a slot for a sidearm, and a slot for a special weapon. And different weapons could play different roles. You had your explosive launchers, you had your crossbows, you had weapons that had suppressors, weapons that didn't, fast-firing weapons, that were really great for crowds versus long-range, super precise weapons. And there were more weapon types than you could bring with you at once. And so you had to carefully choose which weapon types you were going to put into each slot. And so say you wanted to have something to use against vehicles. Maybe that means you have an RPG in your special slot. But maybe that means you got a China Lake in your sidearm slot. And depending on which other weapons you wanted to have, if you wanted to carry a crossbow, if you wanted to carry a suppressed pistol, if you wanted to carry a sniper rifle, you'd have to make all these strategic decisions about which weapons you were going to put in which slot. And so, while our weapon system was not designed from the ground up to work like Far Cry 2's, it was an inspiration here because we wanted you to be able to make the same kinds of interesting choices, right? Like, we wanted you to say, okay, I want to have a quiet weapon and then a loud, fast-firing weapon. So you got a few different options there. You could have a suppressed pistol in your sidearm slot and an assault rifle in your primary slot. Or you could put a crossbow in your primary slot and a machine pistol or a sawed-off shotgun in your sidearm slot. And so, like, what sort of combination of weapons you want to bring with you is really up to you. And so I think one of the best things about this too is, for instance, shotguns. Especially if you're playing at higher difficulty levels, why would you ever bring a shotgun with you? They're super loud. They run out of ammo really fast. It's super scary to use them. But in certain situations, what are you saying, Joe?
I just used the shotgun.
There you go.
I was just using the cold turkey.
Oh, the cold turkey's a special case. Cold turkey's like the best shotgun ever. But the point is, if there's a feral charging at you, it's hard to do better than whipping out a shotgun and blasting it in the face. And so people, there's reasons why you might want to have a shotgun with you, but you don't want it necessarily to be your only gun. And so now that we've got sawed-off shotguns as sidearms, or you could carry, a nice heavy-duty shotgun slung on your back and bring another, like a pistol or something like that, or a scoped revolver as your sidearm. You've now got the option to carry a shotgun with you for the moments you want shotguns, but not have to use that shotgun all the time for every single instance.
So, Geoffrey, we got a couple good questions right off the bat. First, from Awesome Twitch Dude, will the sidearm key binding be set when released?
Oh, so there is going to be a default key binding that you land with. And the way that it works, I think that on a console controller, while you're aiming, you press the Y button to switch weapons. And we chose Y because that's a traditional button that they use in Halo. It's what they use in Call of Duty. We felt like it was going to be really familiar to players and sort of the first place they go to if they're trying to guess what number, what key it is. And then similarly on the mouse and keyboard, it's the 2 key that you hit to cycle the weapons.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, we came at those two by doing a lot of research into other games and what the standards were. And the problem is there wasn't one universal standard across all the different games. Both of these choices on both of those input methods, they are consistent with other games, but not every other game. And so if you've got other habits, things... ways that you're comfortable playing, you are free to rebind them. They're on the key binding screen on the settings menu. So you're absolutely free to take the defaults that we've chosen and swap them out for something else.
Another question from Warbucks. Which weapon will the AI followers use?
This is actually kind of a funny story because so what we have them do is they use the last weapon that you gave them. Whatever weapon you were using last time you played them, they're going to use that weapon unless something goes wrong. Specifically, like if you gave them a weapon that was completely trashed, for instance, and red and couldn't be fired, then they'll switch weapons and they'll deal with it that way. We did end up I announced this on Twitter, and I think a few people responded with different degrees of annoyance to me. The implementation of the AI behavior, switching weapons, dealing with the fact that you could leave them with a weapon that was unusable, and they might want to do something about that. When Kara, the programmer who was implementing this, went through the process of giving the AI this sort of level of intelligence to deal with which weapons they have, she changed the behavior in such a way that it became obvious that there's actually been an exploit in the game for a really, really long time, which is if an AI is given a completely broken weapon, they will repair it themselves for free. And at first this was really subtle because they would only do it if you brought them into combat. And most of the time people just didn't notice that was going on. But once the behavior changed, it turned into the moment you give them the weapon, they instantly fix it. And that became such an obvious exploit. We're probably going to have to do something about that and have it not be the case anymore. But yeah, anyway, if you give them a broken weapon or something like that, they'll get out of it. Otherwise, they will try to use the weapon that you left them with so that they're not confusing you and sort of messing around with your strategic choices.
And then here's a question from several people. How will the new sidearm affect weight and things like light encumbrance and things like that?
It does mean that... Oh, go ahead.
So it really shouldn't make much of a difference. All it's really going to do is what I like most about the new sidearm feature is you'll notice that I think as you called out earlier, like the veteran players, they tend to already play with a couple of weapons in their pack, right? So unless you're playing it really tight to the chest and staying within, like just barely within that normal stamina usage or half stamina usage, unless you're staying really close to that, you're going to be able to just be able to have an extra slot for storing ammo and other things, or explosives in this case, as I go out here and start to think about taking down a leg guard or two.
Yeah, you are never required to carry a sidearm or even to carry a primary weapon if you don't want to. And so if you really like the build that you've been going out with your characters and you've been keeping their weight low and making, sort of trade-offs and sacrifices to do that, you still absolutely can. This just gives you another option if you want to load them down more. I mean, this is a new slot in your inventory. And so if you have been keeping, for instance, a backup pistol or backup shotgun or sniper rifle in your backpack, now there's an official slot you can put them in, and they don't have to take up that backpack space. So it means you can carry more. Technically, we didn't mess with the weight, but if you want to make the same sacrifices you've always been making in order to keep your weight down, absolutely free to do so. Nothing requires you to carry extra.
Just to answer since the weapon switching's on the Y button, we moved the rate of fire or fire mode button over to B on controllers.
Yeah.
There's another quick question. Can you do this while running? No, because the only time you can weapon switch is when you're aiming. So after you've pulled left trigger, or I don't know which mouse button it is, but
yeah, it's the right mouse button.
Yeah.
I believe that it might actually be possible to do the switch on when you're using a mouse and keyboard when you are not aiming. It's been a stretch goal in our list. I'm not sure if we got to it or if we're going to get to it before the update comes out. But that is something we would like to do on PC, or actually you can hook up a mouse and keyboard to your Xbox if you want to. So if you're using a mouse and keyboard, we do want to give you the ability, just like reloading, to be able to do it while you're while you're not aiming. But with a controller, there just simply aren't enough buttons to allow that. We don't have enough face buttons. If you want to figure out a fancy custom control scheme using the settings menu, feel free to do so to try to get that on a face button naturally. But that would be pretty hard, and so we decided to limit it to while you're aiming. One thing though, speaking of having limited access to buttons on the controller, one sacrifice we ended up making, at least with this current implementation of sidearm swapping, was that because we moved the fire mode button from Y onto B to make room for the sidearm swapping feature, that means that dodging while aiming is no longer possible. But we knew that was a really sort of risky, questionable choice, and so we actually included a question about that on our survey. So for people who are in the public test realm, you'll see if you take the survey, there is a question about whether or not it hurts your gameplay to be able to not be able to dodge while aiming. And we've already gotten some feedback on that, and it seems like there are a fair number of players for whom that feels very limiting. And so we're looking into possibilities for making it possible to dodge and still change fire mode without having to make it one or the other. So stay tuned on that. Right now in the public test realm, when you're trying it out, you'll see that the B button has been overwritten with the fire mode button, and you can't dodge while aiming. But we're looking into options for alleviating that.
And if you take a look here down in the lower right hand corner, I've left that corner open. At least I hope open enough for everybody to see it. But you can see sort of what Geoffrey is talking about.
Actually, you can't. Brant's face is in front of
my
it.
face is covering
no.
the. I apologize for that. That is not a piece of UI that anybody wants to see.
But yeah. But the point you were trying to make was that about switching the where the buttons were?
Yeah, you were talking about how where the buttons are for default versus where they are normally. I guess. Press the Brant button. Yeah, I could do that, Mark. Sorry.
Don't do that. That's like pressing the self-destruct button.
By the way, Joe, we are getting some feedback that you are a little bit quiet compared to the rest of us. So whatever you did to up your volume before, might need to do more of it.
I see.
Might be, yeah. That's just normal, though. Anyone talking to me, I am going to be louder than them, almost just by default.
All right, we got zombie threat at home. We got Plague Heart that I'm trying to kill.
So Undead Toad wants to know, will the other characters be able to use this feature if we equip them? And I think that actually is pretty much the thing that I sort of answered before, is that the AI characters are going to they can switch weapons, but they'll only do it kind of if they need to. They're not just going to be arbitrarily switching weapons all the time. If you give them a grenade launcher, they're not going to suddenly switch to the grenade launcher and start spamming grenades just because they felt like it. We are sort of trying to leave that as much in your hands as possible, while still making sure that the AI doesn't do just completely stupid things like insisting on holding on to a broken weapon and
we'll have to
and only using that.
Maybe switch weapons, Joe.
Yeah, shooting things instead of like just dodging around. Yeah. All right, fine. Oh no. All right, let's go.
Strategic withdrawal.
So that guy Superman wants to know if we're planning on adding larger backpacks or expanding the maximum size of backpacks anytime soon. And right now, no, we don't have any plans to do that. You'll notice that if you've got a character who's got backpacking and resourcefulness, and they've got the largest size backpack, we are filling the entire space that UI takes up on the right side of the screen. We don't really have room to add additional spaces without starting to just encroach and crawl across the rest of the screen, and like there's some kind of horrible infection spreading across your screen space. So we decided to basically, the only empty spot we had left was the slot that was sitting under rucksacks. That there was sort of an empty space there, and that's the spot we decided to use. We pushed rucksacks down into that slot and stuck the new primary weapon versus sidearm slots up above it. And so we've kind of used the last bit of space that we want to use for inventory slots. Going much further would occlude so much of the screen. I think that it would probably cause as many problems as it solves. But inventory management, that's one of the challenges of the game, figuring out what you want to bring home and what you want to keep. That's one of the interesting decisions that you got to make.
Or just keep everything and have like a 10-minute scroll through your gun locker after a while.
Hey, I'm feeling a bit attacked by that. Right.
Kind of attacking myself too.
Yeah. But the thing is, though, is for everybody that's already got the huge lockers now, that a lot of people like switch between. Not what I wanted to do. Not ideal. A lot of people like switch between primary weapons, right? A lot. And what this does is it allows you to maybe focus in on some different aspects of the game. What I like the most is the idea that that the sharpshooting is now a lot more meaningful, because a lot of these sidearms use smaller calibers, and so anyway, it makes them a lot more useful too.
Because then they can knock arms and legs off and stuff like that more effectively, or.
That too, but it's also when you max out sharpshooting, it allows all bullets to pierce through zombies. So I can take this. Right. I can take this pistol now, make a line of zombies, and wipe out 4 or 5 of them. So.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. Like this guy. What's he doing?
All right. Ben, this must have been a small scene.
Yeah, we got another few questions about potential future features, which we can never make promises and stuff like that on the stream. Scishat the Gray suggested being able to, for people who have collected 1 million guns, being able to favorite items in the supply locker. We know that that's a frequently asked for feature, and that is sort of on our short list of sort of favorite things that we'd love to do given the time and and available resources. And I think there was another one that I saw here too. That it's just scrolling so fast, I can't. I can't find the people, but yes, we're definitely hearing a lot of this feedback that people want just want us to continue making improvements to the user experience. Oh, somebody was asking for larger bullet stacks. That is another one that is sort of on the short list of things that we'd love to do sometime. Can't make any promises specifically, but those are top priority features for us too, given the time and resources stacking up against our other priorities, which. That's the thing that's always tough, because, Brant and I have both been pushing for this feature. Joe's been pushing for this feature for a long time. And sometimes it can be frustrating for us that we can't do everything at once. But unfortunately, we've got a lot of different things that we want to do all at the same time. And we like all of them. And so that's one reason why we can never just say, yes, that one, we're definitely going to do that next, because we got to go back and think about, well, how does it compare with the other 5 things that we're thinking of using that time and those resources for? And some of those other ones are pretty good too. So, we got to make the same kinds of careful, difficult choices that you've got to make when you're deciding what to stick into your backpack. We've got limited backpack space for features. And sometimes we got to,
And for those of you who may just be tuning in, I would like to reiterate that what you're watching right now is sort of an example of the new sidearm switching feature that's going into update 25, and that this will be live before you know it, and it comes from the wish list. And so once again, thank you so very much for engaging with the wish list and helping us put things into the game that matter to you. as well as for those of you who own it on Steam, taking part in the beta and taking part in the beta survey. So keep putting your wishes up on the wish list. Try and get those votes out there so that it can stay alive. And definitely, if you've already got it on Steam, it's absolutely free. Just take part in our public test realm / open beta, and you too can stream or even test out the features that we've got up that are up there. So, Brant, I had some questions because, like, I know that when people used to ask about specifically about sidearms, we were having some troubles with. Oh no, my mechanic died. Oh no.
Oh no!
Oh no, not my mechanic. Oh, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna cry. Oh no. All right. I'm gonna choke. Anyway, so Brant, what were some of the challenges when it came to like adding the animations and actually making it so that this swap is as smooth as it is? Anyway,
It's a fairly simple feature, and I say simple with quotes, but what's not simple is all of the downstream dominoes that get knocked over when you add something like this. The number of animations that we had to write some more animation code because switching between, stowing one weapon and then smoothly switching over to another one was not something we'd done animations for. There's audio concerns. Each audio had to have new files for it because the different battle rattle that happens while you're switching between different types of firearms and guns and stuff like that. And then tuning, QA. It's every little change, especially with a mature game like this, is just a crazy list of things that can and probably will go wrong, and you have to go through that process, figuring out what you've broken, and before you can actually ship this out. So, oops, sorry, my son's calling. It's his birthday today. Sorry, kid. Anyways.
So what I should interrupt you real quick to point out that normally we save our drawings for giveaways for the end of the stream. This time, just to make sure we get a winner instead of somebody disappearing into the ether, we're doing it in just a couple of minutes. And so if you're interested in having a personal session with Joe on his stream, helping you accomplish a legacy, then please hit !enter now in the chat. It's probably your last chance before we're going to start trying to draw and find a winner.
I swear I'm going to win that. I want Joe to help me.
The whole chat is wishing happy birthday to your son, by the way, Brant.
Yay!
Absolutely.
Brogan would be happy to know that. I'll have him watch this after the when we cut the VOD.
All right, so I got to be careful now.
So Burnt Dragon asks, will we be able to remove weapon attachments without having to equip them? I don't believe that we messed with that particular behavior. I can double check to make sure, but I'm pretty sure we didn't. However, going the other direction, you do have some more freedom now, because when you're attaching a mod, you potentially could have two different weapons that it could attach to. We now pop up a separate window to have you select which weapon you want to attach the mod to. And since we were doing that anyway, we were like, well, why not just open up every weapon in your inventory? So if you've got a backpack full of guns, you can. Whoa, what is going on? Jeez.
I think I may have found a bug.
What is happening? It's all attacking Cash, but he doesn't fight.
Right.
Oh, that's bizarre.
So I might have to write up a bug.
That's great.
Anyway.
So if you've got a backpack full of guns and you want to attach a suppressor to any of them, we'll give you the option. You can attach it to any of the guns that you have in your inventory. It doesn't have to just be the one that's equipped, because now you can have more than one equipped.
Where did he go? I heard him. Did he go back toward Cash?
Luckily, Cash is immortal. Like we've flipped a switch on his character. He cannot be killed. So.
Yeah, and his suit won't even get messy, which is beautiful because he's got his.
Messier.
Oh no! Oh no!
Now the party's coming to you.
That's all right. I'm okay with that. I got the party down. But that's another thing is I like to go with these really, I like to go with quiet primaries and then just have really loud sidearms. Like for instance, you saw me just using a 44 there that I think it's the King Vulture. I think I got that out of a play card. So thanks to some of my viewers who watched me do this last weekend. Reminded me that that's okay, that there's a sidearm right there, because I totally didn't notice it. But no, I like this. I like this idea that you can also go with these loud sidearms, and they're pretty effective in base combat as well because they're pretty fast in terms of fire rate, and then you know they do a pretty decent job in terms of hitting pretty hard some of them, and you know you can pretty easily put a brake on them, and it just makes it even more powerful.
I think it's. Oh, go ahead, Geoffrey.
No. I was changing the subject. You go.
I'm kind of changing it too. I think it's going to be really interesting to see how all you players approach the, you know, what philosophy you're going to use with your firearm choices, being able to have two of them. One of the things that I noticed was you can take on several bounties now that you might not have taken together, because you know sometimes they require a revolver, some require an assault weapon, and you can switch back and forth a lot easier now. So I've been taking different bounty selections when given this opportunity. So it's gonna be fun to see what people come up with.
Totally. It looks like we actually have a winner for the contest, for the giveaway. It is Jorge Land. Jorge Land is the winner. So next week, we're going to be hosting Joe's personal stream on this channel next week. And so next week is when when Joe and Jorge are going to go on a legacy completing adventure together. And that's going to be a lot of fun.
That's awesome. Thank you so much, Jorge. That's awesome.
I can't believe that I didn't stack the deck by doing enter. By entering that.
As if I haven't helped you enough without it.
Obviously you haven't, because I still need help.
Beef Jerky Yo wants to know, can you have a handgun as a primary and a second handgun as a sidearm? No. Part of that is because of the thing I was saying before, being inspired by Far Cry 2. We wanted you to be making these very specific strategic choices about which from two lists of weapons you decided to bring with you. But it's also partly just for simplicity in the user experience. You know, when it's much simpler to just really clearly be able to say, these weapons go in that slot and these weapons go in that slot, rather than making you choose a slot. I mean, the process of, for instance, attaching a weapon mod right now, you know, there's an extra step now because you might have to target one weapon or the other. And if you had to do that every single time you equipped a weapon, which is something people, I think, do more often than they change mods, that could become kind of, you know, cumbersome to have to, you know, select a slot each time you decided to equip a pistol. And so we decided to just basically say each weapon goes in one particular slot and one particular slot only, which makes it much faster and simpler to equip them.
Well, and two sidearms would have required us to have another
put a new holster, right?
New holster, and probably have you know, it on the left side, which would be a problem because then, you know, you're putting one away and that's more animations. It's just not going to happen. I'm sorry to say.
Yeah. No, that's true. I hadn't even thought about the animation costs, which would have been, more than we can handle right now.
And I do want to point out the thing that I was doing on stream there is that I took out one of the Echo X3s, and so I've got this very loud 44 pistol, right? But then if I take this Echo X3 repeating crossbow with me, that's where most of my quiet shots are going to come. In this case, it would be almost entirely silent. Right. So
Faith D. Milo. I was saying Faith D. Milo was actually asking which slot crossbows to go into, and so it goes into the primary slot.
Yeah, and so
if they're huge, you know.
If you wanted to, you can run around with a crossbow and a 45, or you can run around with a crossbow and a shotgun. Because here's the Geoffrey was talking about how there are some shotguns that are sidearms. Here's the 870 sawed-off. I'm fairly certain that one of the other sidearms is the Red Talon, the RTX Cyclone.
Yeah, that's a sidearm.
it's a sidearm, and that's a full auto shotgun. It may only have a magazine of 9, but it's still devastatingly effective. And so like it's going to really allow you to sort of play around with what's going on, and it does give you a lot more choices and power in terms of how you want to approach or load out what you both wear. Beef Jerky Yo also calls out mare's leg. I have it on good authority that indeed the mare's leg is a sidearm.
It
That
is
correct.
So you can walk around with a rifle and then a sawed-off rifle.
Yeah, and if you put a suppressor on that thing, it looks really ridiculous. But we decided to let it go.
Right. But either way, any chance of a phased plasma rifle in the 40-watt range?
Not until we get that co-marketing deal with James Cameron.
All right, so let's take Stuffins out. Let's see what did I give him? Oh, right, a revolver. So quiet versus loud, but we've got the quiet on the revolver side. Oh,
I'm very curious where he got the name Stuffins. I know I wrote that. I just don't know why.
here, let's take a look.
Is he a doctor? Is he Doc McStuffins?
No, he was a straight-A student. Stephen Meyer or Mayer.
Oh, it's probably short for Steven. It's probably it was probably okay.
Steven.
Anyone go by Steven, there's a free nickname for you. You can go by Stuffins if you really want to.
I would like to point out that none of these changes are going to show up in Daybreak. Daybreak is a beast unto its own. So you're not going to have weapon switching. You're not going to have automatic sidearms and stuff like that in Daybreak.
All right, let's see if we can actually get to cache this time so we can talk about the third exciting thing. It is June, and with a new month comes a new bounty pack. And
right.
June is the return of the World War II pack.
Our very first pack that we ever did, even before we had a bounty broker, we had a World War II pack.
Yep.
I don't have a mechanic anymore. I should be more careful about what I run over. Is my audio louder now? Sure.
Yeah, definitely let us know if you're having trouble hearing Joe. Oh, by the way, I meant to mention to Greed 15 Good. They noticed a minor visual bug earlier and called it out in the chat. I noticed it too. You might have seen the look on my face, and I've taken a note. We're gonna write it up. It's actually really nice to have these streams, or like whenever I play State of Decay 2, I usually stream it on my personal channel. And part of the reason why I do that is because you're just constantly, noticing things. Whenever you play your own game, you're just constantly noticing little things that you want to fix. And so having a video of it, so you can easily share it in a bug with someone else who's in a position to fix it, is really, really convenient. So now I know at about the 30-minute mark in this video, there's a moment that I want to share in a bug.
Uh-oh. That juggernaut's still here.
Actually, this is a good question that I don't know. Is sidearm switching going into Heartland?
Yes, I believe so. That we're gonna try. Heartland is gonna basically be, it's meant to be the normal game in a lot of different ways, and this is one way in which it actually probably would have been more difficult to try to restrict it in Heartland than to just keep it. So yeah, Heartland should get this.
Nope. Okay. Listen, loader. Okay. Enough's enough. All right.
So it sounds like you are audible, Joe, but that occasionally you get quieter and louder. So if you're just sort of projecting and enunciating, you should be fine.
All right. Good.
Jarvis asks, is that the magazine flying in the air? Yes, some of the guns still have bugs where the animation gets offset. So we're working on that.
Yeah, that was the bug that Greed 15 pointed out.
So the thing that you might want to wait for though is it looks like, I don't know if this is going out in update 25, the changes for the bounty targets.
What do you mean the bounty targets? You mean the
They're smaller. So like killing 10 bloaters with pistols. As to, like,
Oh, yeah, that should.
45.
If you're seeing it here, it would probably come out with the update. I'm not dead. Yeah, but it might be saving it for the update, which means that people might not see it right now. But yeah, we do occasionally retune those to try to match, what we're seeing players actually enjoying and experiencing.
okay. Somebody asked when the critical response pack is coming, and we have an article on the support site when we had the pack cycling issues that has the schedule, and the critical response pack is scheduled for August.
That is correct. So it's coming. It's very close.
All right, so now. So anyway, oh look, hey look, more stuff. Cool. He looks kind of injured. Despite
Yeah, you know what?
weird.
I wonder if he can get blood plague.
I don't know.
I think it can't kill him, but he might get it.
I don't know. I'll have to check later on today.
Or it could be that he doesn't take health damage, and that's what keeps him immortal. But maybe he can take injuries. And I know that at Lethal, the freaks deliver tons of injuries super fast, and so it could just be he's got enough injuries that it's hurting him.
Cash has a Kevlar suit on. He's good.
So a lot of folks in the chat are asking when things are going to be out. Specifically, like when is the update that contains sidearms, the outpost upgrade, and plague territory? When is that coming out? And we can't say quite yet. It's not that far off. I mean, I don't think you'll be waiting forever because it's been a while since we've done an update. We have been teasing this for a while. It's been in the public test run for a while. You can imagine it's probably fairly close, but we're not ready to tell you a date yet. Sorry about that.
Well, and dates have a way of changing sometimes, but we'll tell you as soon as we can.
Yeah.
All right, let's.
Angel Eyes wonders if Cash has workman's comp. Cash is self-employed, and I know that adds some challenges. I'm really not sure.
Technically, he's not self-employed.
Oh, that's true. We do have some lore stuff in the back of our heads that we've never revealed. That maybe he actually is not out there on his own. I've gotten so used to seeing him on his own, I kind of actually forgot our backstory.
He may be an independent franchise owner.
Yeah.
Ooh. Did anybody tell the independent franchise?
They know all.
They know all.
We've already got people in the chat writing their own fanfic about where Cash comes from, which is great.
There you go. Grist for the mill.
Where does Cash Beaumont get all these neat toys?
Where does he get his checks?
Right?
Where did he find those suits?
The world may never know.
Garlic Burp says that maybe Cash is Cleo. That would be a revolutionary reveal. Oh man.
That would change the fundamental underpinnings of the universe.
Turns out that Cash Beaumont is an AI capable of delivering whatever they want.
Once he realizes that he can't be killed, then he turns evil.
So Jarvis wants to know if we're back in the office yet, or if some of us are still working from home. So yeah, you can see, Brant is still in the office. He's working there. I am in my house.
There's the office.
Not a lot of people there with Brant in the office, as you can see. So mostly we are still at home, partly because during the pandemic, we hired more people, and we actually, if we tried to go back to our office right now, we wouldn't fit. So we're gonna have to solve some problems before we can go back to the office. So it'll take us a little longer to get back into the office than it normally would, necessarily take us if we hadn't been growing. But that's kind of okay. We shipped the Juggernaut edition and every update since with everyone working from home, and so we've actually kind of shown that our team is pretty capable of pulling off some pretty big accomplishments while everyone's working from home. So we're not in an enormous hurry to get back into the office. There are advantages to having everybody in one space, just as there are advantages to having everyone at home. So we'll have to see how we, how we sort of work things out once we have, a space that's capable of holding us all. But for now, we are still, most of us working at home with occasional exceptions, like Brent.
Well, I'm going to get kicked out because we need to make some changes here. So
Yeah.
I'm going to actually have to work in my crappy apartment pretty soon.
I'm feeling pretty good. It's like I don't know. I'm 2 weeks after my second shot. I'm vaccinated.
I am halfway through those 2 weeks, so I'm getting very, very close. Mummer Tinker wants to know, what about the car repair glitches? So physics bugs usually actually kind of require a particular set of expertise, and so we're not able to just really quickly just jump in and fix those whenever we want to, but we are trying right now to sort of array the right resources to try to address that. We know that it's one of our most prominent weird bugs that generates a lot of videos online, so we're motivated to try to solve it. We've just got to get the right resources lined up to make it happen.
Well, and there are a couple of them that they've been in there for a while, but a lot of it also comes down to, like you said, Geoffrey, having the right resources to fix the root of the problem. Because more often than not, you'll take a look at a bug and you'll be like, well, it's got to be something with X, and then turns out that it's not anything at all to do with X. It's actually Y, and you need an entirely different set of skills. You need a whole new Liam Neeson in order to get that one fixed.
Yeah, physics is pretty deep code stuff too, and yeah, it's attached to so many things. It's like a bomb disposal guy, like playing with a nuclear bomb. Like cutting the wrong wire may not make the bomb explode, but it may break everything else in the game.
Trevor Storm wants to know, how does Cash Beaumont know how many zombies you've killed? So, I mean, obviously it's the honor system. Why would someone lie in the apocalypse? I don't understand the question. That's I don't know. That's how it works for me anyway. What I'm imagining is actually that probably you're having to bring him disgusting, dripping trophies. We're not showing that, because that would take a lot of, art and effort, to do that. But, imagine maybe you're delivering him a bag full of ears, for instance. It's probably something along those lines.
A bag full of ears?
A bag full of ears. Yeah, exactly. Of course, the thing is, when people have tried that, there have definitely been, I've read lots of stories from history about when there's like an invasive species and you try to motivate people to go and like hunt these animals by saying, we'll give you some, like for all, if you've got invasive rabbits, for every rabbit ear you bring us, we'll pay you some money. And so what people would do is they would just go and find a bunch of rabbits and like keep rabbits and breed rabbits in their homes and just cut all their ears off and deliver them for money. And then you end up with more rabbits than you had before. And so those kind of incentive strategies won't really work. So it could easily be that, Cash has got this incentive strategy to try to get you to kill more zombies. But, in the end, some people might actually sort of cheat the system. It's a whole thing.
I think everybody in our apocalypse is just brutally honest.
Yeah, nobody here would think of lying.
Zombies can smell liars, and so I think that the liars were the first ones who got taken out.
Right, it's the little known Rule 33. Tell the truth all the time.
That's right. Honesty is the best policy.
Despite what you may have seen in all of the other movies.
Oh, Sidechat the Gray just came up with a counter example, though. Apparently, there's that wandering trader who immediately tries to kill you when you try to meet up with them. That's true. They might be dishonest.
But they don't lie. They're like,
they don't say, I'm not going to kill you. That's true.
Right. They just said, I've got an offer for you.
That's right.
And then they don't tell you what the offer is. And then you show up and they pull out their guns and they go to kill you. Like,
I offer you the sweet release of death.
Right, exactly. Maybe they'll shoot you in the head so that you don't become a zombie. I don't know. I'm going to give you an offer I can't refuse. I think I saw that. Yeah, did do a nice job.
MRD Gaming wants to know, will equipping side and primary weapons with the same caliber affect ammo count? Can we carry more? Basically, you'll kind of have to... We did not make any changes to the way that ammo stacks up in your inventory. At least not yet. That's something that I'd like to do. I said earlier, that's something that I'd like to do at some point, but we don't have that in the build right now. But basically that just means that you need to sort of make decisions. Maybe if the reason why you like to carry two weapons is because the two weapons have different qualities, like one is accurate, one is fast firing, that sort of thing, but you don't want to carry independent stacks of ammo, you could target two weapons that are the same caliber just so you can switch easily between them without having to carry multiple separate ammo stacks. So that could be a strategy you choose.
In fact, I think that's what Steffens has on it right now.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Because I've got the OSS Silent Knight, which is 45 caliber, and then I've got the Gangland Strad, which is also 45 caliber. But this one has an advanced break, and this one is internally suppressed. So,
so One Red 70 came up with an idea for what Clio might stand for. This is one of the better ones I've heard. Cache's load of equipment and outfits.
Oh,
it's pretty good.
There we go.
Yeah. Maybe we should. That may
just have to become lore.
Oh man! If only we weren't already committed to. Never mind. Anyway,
we weren't already committed to what?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
No. So Independence Pack Trader here. I decided to buy a block rocker. So go have some.
Janny, just to answer your question, creative mode is almost guaranteed not to happen for State of Decay 2. I can almost say that with wholehearted belief that we don't have the capability to make a creative mode in this game.
Angel Eyes says, "Is there a box of graham crackers in the game? Because I have 2 ingredients to make s'mores." I didn't realize we had marshmallows. I knew we had chocolate. I didn't realize we had marshmallows. That's actually pretty good.
Now I want s'mores. I guess I'll have to settle for my dark chocolate pretzels after the stream.
So, Satyr Bloodstone asks, why can you carry only 30 rounds of ammunition, but 99 cases of chemicals? Well, we don't say how big those cases are. They could be little tiny thimblefuls of chemicals.
That's right. They're like airline vodka bottles of chemicals.
Yeah, maybe we should just call them vials of chemicals.
Yeah, just drips, eyedroppers with chemicals.
Ampules.
All right.
The other answer to that is sometimes we don't make sense.
Video game logic is not always rational. It's often based on incentives and things like that rather than on actual real world verisimilitude. We try to go for there's a phrase that I think an old colleague of mine quoted where he talked about video games wanting to go for authenticity but not realism. Realism actually undermines fun a lot of the time. If you try to make everything absolutely realistic, a lot of what you enjoy about a video game can end up kind of falling by the wayside. And so, it's because a lot of the stuff your characters do in State of Decay, it's fun, but a real person would probably not be able to do all of that as consistently as the characters in this game do. But that's okay because it's fun and you like it because it's fun. We often violate realism for the sake of fun or for the sake of a particular type of challenge.
Well, yeah, I mean, okay. If we were going for realism, all of your characters would be stuck in base with waterborne diseases. For not boiling their water.
Yeah, no, exactly. And so, but authenticity is what we're going for, where it's like things have sort of, maybe it's like Stephen Colbert's truthiness, like things have sort of the feel of realism without actually having proper realism. And that's sort of the line we're trying to walk. It's like, we like the idea of you can see the weapon on your back and the weapon in your hip, and there's a certain sense of sort of physicality and tactileness to the way that the game works that feels authentic, even though when you think about it, you're like, oh, wait a minute, no, this isn't exactly how it would go in real life.
Well, yeah, I mean, this is another example. Like that plague heart is authentic to being an exact duplicate of my ex-mother-in-law, but it's not really my ex-mother-in-law.
There you go.
All right.
For the record, my mother-in-law is awesome, and I love her.
I didn't say yours. I said mine.
I know. I just wanted to make sure. If we're trashing mother-in-laws, I just wanted to do the complete opposite, publicly on the air.
Oh no, Stuffins might die.
Stuffins.
I guess that's what I get for not taking something with me. All right. More Stuffins. All right, we'll go. He's probably got enough. He's probably got enough sneaky juice to get out of here.
So it looks like Jorge Land has not successfully made contact with our social team, and so Jorge, if you really want to be the winner of our giveaway, please definitely send an email real quick to the folks. To I think it's what is it?
Social at undeadlabs.com.
Social at undeadlabs.com. Please definitely do that real fast, because if not, we might need to pick another winner real quick.
So let's see where we're at. We are rapidly closing in on the end, everybody, and we'll take Stuffins back to base. We'll get him a cure so that he doesn't die, unless we happen to run into a bloater again, which I am known to do now and again frequently. So if you have any more questions about the sidearms feature, or concerns that you've seen while watching people who are playing the beta, streaming, get those in, get them out there in the chat. We'll try to address them.
Yeah, and I'd love to hear what your philosophies are on how you're going to approach sidearms. Like, are you going to take that sawed off and stick it on your hip, or are you going to go with? My favorite that I saw so far was Undead Mark was playing with the rifle version of the Mac 10, the Mac V, and then he had the Mac 10 on his hip too.
That's
Nice.
That's a lot of 45 caliber.
There's
in a very small amount of time.
There was lead all over the place.
All right, we're gonna make it, unless something really terrible happens.
So Skate Chungo wants to know how to get this texture on this vehicle, and I believe so. Is this just a standard military truck?
Yeah, that's just a standard military truck.
So yeah, the vehicle colors are randomized when they're generated, and so you just kind of have to be lucky if you want a particular color of truck.
Well, you also have to run over a buttload of zombies to get that sweet red paint job too.
Yeah. I worked really hard on that paint job. All right, there we go. Now everybody can rest safely, knowing that Cutter was the only one that died. Poor Cutter. But it's about time for us to sign off, folks. Again, things are coming out. If you are, do we have a verification yet of the winner?
Not sure yet. So let's definitely use our last 3 minutes and not cut it off any earlier.
Okay. All right. So we've got still going strong. That was long enough to go out and kill a thing. I noticed that somebody asked in chat why it's so hard to get the advanced biochem station. And the answer is because it only comes from one mission, and all of those missions vie for certain numbers of spots per day. I don't know the number of missions allowed per day, but right off the top of my head, but I know that there are only a few, because it used to be that the missions would come just too far or too fast, and so people would worry that they couldn't get to the other side of the map soon enough or whatever. And so we changed that a little bit. Let's see. The RTX Piranha is the M32 really a sidearm? No. That can't be true.
No, it's not a sidearm. So it looks like we drew another winner, or a backup winner.
Yeah, we got a backup winner. So no promises, because we don't know if Jorge is going to still get in contact with us. But someone named Rylan K was rolled as our backup winner. And so if they're still in the chat, please definitely contact our social team, social@undeadlabs.com. We want to make sure that somebody wins this. And if they don't, I don't know. Maybe we'll have to find some other way to find a winner if the folks who win keep leaving the chat before the winner's announced.
So, I mean, or we could make it so we guarantee they don't contact us by saying, I will help them with their legacy.
Oh.
Which would mean
that I would come help you anyway.
Team wipe.
All right.
Well, There are a couple of last-minute questions. I know that there's somebody who has been asking us a lot about whether the public test realm is coming to the Xbox. That's something that would not have been very easy for us to do this time around. We already had a beta up and running on Steam. It was just a closed beta, so it was super easy. And we could spend all of our time on feature development. Making one on the Xbox is something we would like to do at some point if there's interest in it. And people have shown there clearly is a lot of interest. There's just there's a process we would have to go through to set something like that up. So it's not something we can just snap our fingers and make it happen. So thanks for telling us that you want it, and we'll have to figure out the right circumstances under which we could pull something like that off. Oh, and a couple of the late people who came in also wanted to know, is this sidearms feature, this sidearm swapping feature, going to be in the same update as Plague Territory and the Outpost upgrade? And yes, this is all one update. And they're not even the only things that are going to be in this update. We've actually got several other things. Some folks in the public test realm have noticed a few other changes to the game. There's a lot more than just those headliner features, though I think those headliner features are some of the more exciting ones we've done recently. So I'm looking forward to them. What?
I should have mentioned it. Man, the thing that has me most excited about this update, besides the big features, but the small change that has me most excited about this is this. Look at that. I can go immediately to
oh, that's right.
the map exit. Like as soon as I get, oh look at that, mysterious wandering trader pops up. As soon as I start talking about leaving the map. All right, so anyway, yeah. As soon as you get to Command Center level 2 now, you can just immediately leave the map. You don't have to do any extra actions. You don't have to wait. You can just go, and it works just as it always did. So.
Yeah. And since we're running out of time, we'll have to get into more detail about that. I think probably, so the next stream we do is going to be 2 weeks from now, like always. And so I'll be hosting that one. We'll be going over a lot of those, sort of the smaller, more minor features that are going to be in this upcoming update. So I'm really looking forward to that because there's lots of little things that we've been working on that it's really easy for the big headliner features to steal all their thunder. So we're going to spend some time talking about the little stuff, and I think it's going to be fun.
And then also this thing has changed. So people were talking about how this is just too easy to get, and we have changed it so that you can't just sit there and spam it.
That's the skill training in the upgraded outpost, right?
Skill training in the upgraded outpost. That's correct.
Yeah.
All right, folks. So thank you very much for tuning in. We might be a little over on time, and I just want to say thank you to everybody. Let's take this up to this screen. Brant, thank you so much for being here today, and thank you for funneling the questions in and for your insights on the art and how things are going. Any parting thoughts for you?
Well, it's just good to be back here with y'all. Great to spend time with everybody out there on the internet. As usual, we dearly appreciate your people's involvement with our game. We couldn't do this without you, and we love y'all.
Well said, Brant. And Geoffrey, it's been a couple weeks. Anything to say for the people?
Really, I think I kind of already said it, that I'm really excited to go over even more, detail about what's in this update 2 weeks from now on the next stream. So come and join us then. And actually, maybe that was what you were about to say as we were signing off. So maybe I've just scooped your ending. So I'll pass it back to you, Joe.
No problem. And if we don't end up finding somebody for me to assist with any kind of legacy on any difficulty, which by the way includes lethal and builder, as much as I might hate to say it. Anyway, so we're off for the next 2 weeks. We'll be back on the 21st, and next week I will be hosted by this channel, and so I hope you'll join me. I will be playing the beta, or I will be playing if we have something else for other people, then we will be doing that. But we will find something to do next week. Promise. I'll make it as entertaining as I possibly can. All right, folks. And with that, we love you. We can't do this without you, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
And during the awkward silence, I would love to thank Wonder, Megan, and Mark for being in the background and feeding us questions and telling us when, our shoes untied, stuff like that.
running the giveaways, you know,
running the giveaways. We couldn't
often a
do this
thankless
without
task.
couldn't do this without them either.
So much good. All right.